Hello everyone. Welcome to this webinar on high converting landing pages where we critique 5 of your live landing pages submitted to us by our users. This webinar is by VWO. VWO is an A/B testing tool for marketers. It allows you to test different versions of your landing pages and see which ones or which versions work best. Our customers include Microsoft, AMD, Shoedazzle, and about 3,700 more. You can check us out on vwo.com and follow us on Twitter at Wingify. My guest for today is Josh Ledgard. Josh is the co-founder of Kickofflabs and a marketing and CRO expert. I'm almost certain that he has seen more landing pages and critiqued more landing pages than anyone I've ever met. So Josh, thanks for being with us here. Over to you.
Thanks for having me today. It's great to be here. It's great to look at your landing pages. There were so many great submissions, so choosing some of the best examples to help educate folks was difficult. So as Siddhar mentioned, my name is Josh Ledgard. I'm the co-founder of Kickofflabs. We help you produce high converting landing pages and opt-in forms. So our goal is to help you get more leads. We provide landing pages, pop-up forms, exit intent widgets, any tools to actually grab additional leads from your website and from your marketing campaigns. Because of that, we've seen several thousand of our customers' landing pages, both successful and not, and so we've gotten a great idea of the things that work and the things that don't work on landing pages of all different types. That said, let's actually dig into the very first landing page that we're going to review. If you could make me a presenter again so I can share my screen and we can look at the page.
Yes.
Okay, you should see my screen now. And what you see is this website, which is travelallrussia.com/welcome. So this is meant to be a welcome page on their site, I assume. Most people may not actually read the URL, but it does give additional context. The two first things I noticed about this page were, one, the video rotating in the background and heading through these several different scenes, and two, I always kind of check to see. I check to see, is the page going to be responsive if you view it on mobile devices? And so the page, as you can see, is not responsive. And I'll mention that only briefly because in the landing page space, about 45% of your visitors for landing pages come from mobile devices. And so it's extremely important to have a great experience for people who are on mobile, and to make it more readable, to make it easier to use, to make it easy to fill out the form. But now let's talk about readability of things. Because of this rotating video, their main branding and their tagline, the Travel All Russia, and this tagline over here, where journeys to Russia begin, become really difficult to read, depending upon the scene of the video. Like in this blue sky, it's kind of obvious. You can see it. In the white sky, it's kind of obvious. But then in the dark sections, you can't really tell. It just makes it really difficult to read. And I feel the same way a little bit about the text in this box because the box has so much transparency to it. It makes the smaller text difficult to read as the image is going through. Perhaps that's why they included the pause button on the video, so you could just pause it. When it pauses it, it actually makes it darker, which is actually makes it harder to read this top stuff. So my first bit of advice would be to test this against great opportunity to use VWO and test this against a version with just a static background image and that has the kind of characteristics that would make this top section with your brand and the tagline easier to read, so that you give people that context on the page. Because if you see, if I pull this image over the form, if it's more readable, you could actually have some more context. And perhaps the other thing to try would actually be, if you like the video, putting this headline here at the top of the form, so it's inside the box. That way you get the additional context for things. The other thing that was nearly impossible to see until I stopped the video, which most people may not even discover the stop of the video, is the phone number up here. So phone number is a great trust factor, especially for a business like this where you're talking about helping to book people's travel plans. But if you're playing the video, it's nearly impossible to read most of the time that there's a phone number up here. I didn't notice it until I stopped the video, to be honest, looking at it. One of the things that I liked about this page is that they are attempting to post, they have lots of these trust factors. They've got this Trustpilot score here. They've got this row of icons down here, which again, if it was in here, inside the more white background, you'd be able to read it, and then you'd say, oh wow, Inc. 5000, Better Businesses accredited. That would give people a lot of trust. They've gone through the effort to earn those trust logos. They feel kind of buried down here below the page. The other thing that I notice, that I take notice and tell people to look out for on pages, is there's this quote, and quotes can be a great additional trust factor that will improve conversion rates. But this quote is missing an attribution. So there's no name and image of the person who said it. It kind of makes it feel a little bit made up. And so even if they could say Mike from Travelocity or Mike from this other travel site, or have an image if it's Joanne from somewhere, that would make the quote feel a lot less made up, and help folks. So the next thing is, I really did like the bright orange call to action button is great. You could step back from your computer screen about 10 feet, which is a great tip to do, and you know where the call to action button is on this page. So visually, it's a great call to action. Although when I look at the form that's here, there's not a reason for me to fill out the form. Like, there's no title to the form explaining why I should fill it out. And there's just this title over here which says award-winning tours to Russia, which is what they are. We're an organization remarkable. We organize remarkable journeys to Russia, best of a kind. But this doesn't say start your journey here, or to begin your journey, fill out this form, or give us your name, or there's no reason that explains why somebody needs to fill out this form. So there's no motivation, there's no reason. It doesn't tell me what's going to happen next. It doesn't provide context around the call to action, which is critically important, because if you're going to fill out a form online, it's important for you probably to know what's going to happen after I fill it out, or why am I filling it out? What's my motivation for filling it out? And so I feel like this form is missing a headline that says start your remarkable journey, or begin your journey. Your journey begins with the first step. Give us your information and we'll follow up with you. And that kind of motivation, along with if they had like some incentive, like 5% off your package, or just something that would motivate you to fill out the form, because right now there's no motivation on this page. And especially if you're calling it a welcome page, there's actually nothing here that says, welcome to, here's what we can do for you, start now. It would flow a lot better if there was an incentive and a reason to the to go for. And again, because there's no reason here, the word continue in this call to action box doesn't make much sense. And so, but if there was a call to action that says, start your journey to Russia here, and it said, and the call to action button said start your journey or start now, the call to action button text would make more sense, or even continue would make more sense if there was a headline up here above it. There's these social sign-in accounts. I sort of feel like that's important to look at your data and know how frequently each one is being used. I always tell people the page should be as minimal as it needs to be to convert people, because that gives you fewer things to test. And so you might want to look at the data and say, wow, 5 out of 10 people use just filling out their email, and 3 out of the next 10 people use Facebook and only one person use Google+. So let's move on to the next page here, which is grow your own groceries. And let me see if the screenshot tool, which we worked in testing, works here. While I'm going at this, I'll say that this page also suffered the same problem, which is that it's not responsive. So I checked it out on the desktop and then my phone earlier. And so I don't know why this zoom is so far off. Perhaps this will work. Okay. So yeah, this is also not mobile responsive. So if I shrank the browser window down, it's not going to shrink down. I looked on a phone, it's not going to change on there. And again, that's 45% of the views that are happening on a view that people are going to have to pinch, zoom, scroll around a page, which should be a much easier page to read. Because as you look through this page, it's a long form landing page. So you see there's a lot of content going down throughout this page as you scroll down, and so think about that. It shouldn't be that hard to make this page responsive because it's a fairly while it's a long page. There's not a lot of elements that have to move around and be changed, and so it wouldn't be a big change, but it could be a big change in terms of the conversion rate of people that come back from their mobile device to their desktop device and ultimately end up converting. The other thing that I noticed about this page is this is the first, this is the above the fold look that you're seeing right now on the page. And so there is, if I drew this line, across here, there is no call to action above this line, the kind of the first break of the page. And then I scroll down, we're on page 2 now, and there's no call to action of what I would do here above page 2. So you get the point. There's no call to action above the fold on this page, and you really got to think about at least by that second page, even if you're doing a long form, somewhere near the top having this page does have ultimately a buy button, which is all the way at the bottom. So if I was to get this all the way to the bottom, you see this add to cart, buy now. There's a couple of different options here to buy at this point on this page. But some call to action near the top that says, hey, you're a beginner, we'll teach you for this. Because you want to give people an opportunity to just say, yep, I'm in, I want to buy, if somebody's interested right away. B, you want to set people's expectations on a long form page. So why am I reading this page? What is it ultimately leading me to? Right? And you'll say like, oh, well, a price will scare people away. But the reality is if a price scares people away, they probably weren't the best customers. But if you've got convincing copy, then they're going to read it, and then they'll scroll to the bottom. They'll see, oh, I could buy it. But if they scroll quickly back to the top, which a lot of people do on long form pages, they'll kind of skim, read some headlines as they go, get to the bottom, and then they'll go all the way back to the top. And that pattern of going back to the top, when there's no call to action button here, they might not scroll back down to the bottom to get to your call to action. So having, for a long form page like this, a second call to action near the top, something that's maybe up here, here in this area, something a little larger than that. If I was to change this, I made it smaller. But something, you get me, like in this area near the top, I would consider something around that location. The next thing I noticed, just playing around, is just the different headlines on the page. And so this headline right here, this and this was an image. So was this even down here. This isn't actually an image on the page, and you can't tell when I'm looking at it. And the downside of that is, when you do make the page responsive, the image is going to be too small to read text in, and so you want to make that normal text. The other side is it creates a second look on the page because this content looks different than this content, right? And then these headlines have the shadow on the top, and then none of the other headlines on the page right here have the shadow. And honestly, most of the other headlines are more readable because of that. They don't look as cheesy. It looks more modern not to have it. This is something that it looks like. I always say, when people come to a landing page, they think about a red light district test or some part of town that you don't want to be in. When people come to a landing page and they think something looks off, it's like you just wandered into a neighborhood that you really shouldn't be wandering into at the wrong time of night, and you instantly turn around and go back another block. And the same thing happens with landing pages. Like if you see something on the page, you're like, that looks cheesy, this looks inauthentic, then consider changing the style. And I always tell people simpler is generally better. And so it doesn't have to be fancy and background images and slides and videos. It just has to be simple, and the copy has to be great. So speaking of the copy, the headline here reads, "Growing your own food is like printing your own money. You can easily grow healthy, nutritious food in your backyard in less than an hour a day." So a couple things I mentioned about the headline. I think that you could tighten the benefits and the headline greatly here. So the next part of the list is, I'll show you how I create organic food for my family of 4 and how I became free of food inflation. You can do it too. I would think about tightening up to say, grow your own food to save money and improve your health, right? As the top one, because instead of having 2 sentences, you can just have one, and then you can explain a little bit more, because it leads you to say why you're doing this. I do think that including this cost of saying in less than an hour a day, I almost wonder, I would test with and without that cost, because to some people it might sound like, when you say an hour a day or just under an hour a day, it might sound like, wow, that's really fast. Some people, like, I look at it and I say, wow, that's a lot of commitment to the garden. Maybe I'm not the right customer then, but if it was without much disruption to your daily schedule, or another way to phrase it so that you're not mentioning the term, the cost includes an hour on the day in that headline. So I would test this headline with shorter versions and focus it on the health and the money savings aspect. So if I were to focus this headline, I would focus it on the healthy side of it, on these 2 things here, which are the health and the money aspect of the page. And those are the 2 things I would really go after with the headline, because those are the 2 things that get talked about in the rest of the content, which we don't have time to read all of the content, but that's what's really the focus of this page. And so I would think about how you simplify that into one headline that combines both. This page is in this letter format, where it says from, and then regarding, and then dear friend, and hi. This is all vertical space on the page is being taken up, and I don't think it's necessary. I would just say, I would start with hi, I'm. I don't think you need this top 3 sections, so I would take this and I would X this out in this section. And then you get into the letter format. I didn't know anything about gardening or handling livestock, and first of all, in the headline there was nothing about livestock, and then that kind of scares me. So I wonder if that should even be there. I knew nothing about growing my own food to be better. Think about really focusing this in on a couple of things. The personal thing is nice, but I think what's missing is kind of what was mentioned on the last page, which is there should probably be a hero image here of a person that says, hi, I'm, so that you have a face to go with the name in this location. And I think that would really help, The other thing that was missing is at the top, I would say is there's no sort of hero image near the top of like a garden or a bountiful garden or a great harvest. And I think that would be really that would be huge to have, is a hero image that's at the top here. So now let's keep going down on the page a little bit. The headlines beyond that are great. Like, I have homegrown food at my dinner table, hero image. And that's a key to one of the things I liked about the page is it lined up images with the headlines, because the one doesn't rely on the other generally, other than the top of the page where it was missing the images. But the rest of the page does a great job of having a headline generally and tying it with the with a hero image in each of the cases. Now we get to this part again. The testimonials, you'll see they actually have a there's names associated with the testimonials. Although I would think about again what Siddharth said about the name having an image of the person. So having the person's image with the testimonial, and then calling out the name separately because you have them. It's so important. Why not call them out in a bigger way? And then going down the list, there's a lot of in the letter, especially, there's a lot of I talk on the page where it says, I did this, I did that, I saw this, I saw that. Consider replacing that with a lot more places with you instead of talking about yourself, which the intro can do. Throughout the rest of the page, consider talking about how they can do it. Something to test, this video was a short video. It's buried in the middle of the page, perhaps thinking about moving the video up on the page and going from there. And then let's see what else I have on this page. There's a whole table of contents. I'm not sure it's necessary. The big thing that's missing, the last big thing that's missing on this page is an alternative call to action. So right now, if you go through all of this and you decide not to buy, there's no call to action for you on this page. And it should be that there's a call to action for you on the page, even if you decide not to buy, like sign up for my list and get free tips, or get one of these books for free if you just give me your email address. Something that pops up, an exit intent pop-up, kind of tools that we use on Kickofflabs to do that. There's lots of services and tools that will let you do that. I'm biased towards ours, but basically something where if somebody's not ready to buy, you're still getting value out of them visiting your page by giving them something, some useful information, and capturing their email address so that you can continue to market to them. My last page that I was going to look at is this webinar page. So announcing special webinar event. That's a very generic headline. That was the first thing I noticed. I said, wow, every event is a special webinar event. Thinking about taking maybe this, LinkedIn training, announcing free webinar for LinkedIn training or free LinkedIn training at the top that makes it really obvious if you happen to just land on this page and you didn't know what it was. The next thing I noticed is there's a video on this page that Joe played that explains a lot more about the webinar, and I'm not going to play the video for everybody that's here, but the video is used as a substitution for content. And what I mean by that is Jeremiah is hoping that everybody on this page watches the video and doesn't replicate any of the content in terms of headlines to explain why you should sign up and reserve your spot for a webinar. A video is never a substitute, an image is never a substitute for great content. I could be in the office where I don't have sound on my computer, or I don't want to have sound on my computer, so I can't listen to your video. There could be any number of reasons why I can't listen to it, or I don't want to spend the 5 minutes to watch the video. But if you had 3 headlines that said the benefits of signing up for this webinar include 1, 2, 3. So if you include both the video and that, then you give people the choice of how they consume the content. The video auto-played when I started this page. I'm not a fan of the auto-playing video, again, because of that noise in the office space type of thing. And then this is missing a lot of trust factors and quotes. So there's nothing that says, we're not going to spam you. There's nothing that says, I attended the webinar and it was great. So the more of those trust factors, like you saw on the other pages, so the first two pages we looked at both had trust factor logos and quotes on the page, which were great to see on the landing page, but they're just missing from here. There's just a headline and there's a video, but it's missing all of the extra content. Did you have anything else you wanted to comment about this page?
So I thought I just wanted to say a little bit about the last page, the one that about Marjorie, about growing your own groceries.
Sorry, I moved on, and I should have left you on this page. Go for it.
That's okay. I thought that since it's a family and she has a family of 4, right there where her email starts. So down there on the right hand side, I think a family photo or a photo of Marjorie herself, because it's from Marjorie Wildcraft, would really help. So just on the right hand side of clean food, either a family photo or her own photo, I think would help significantly, because again, it has a very strong emotional connect between two different kinds of families, understanding how another one is helping themselves grow organic food.
Yep.
So that would be about this one, and the welcome webinar on LinkedIn Leads. So 2 parts over here. I thought too that a video that starts on its own is probably not such a great idea, but insurance and financial advisors, a lot of them, from what I understand, work from home too. Is that correct? Would you agree to that?
Yes.
Right. So many of them, I think, can afford to, have a video on autoplay, unless of course, it's at a time when family might be disturbed or others in the room might be disturbed. But this is something that I felt fine for their kind of target audience, for their kind of customers, could probably work. And I would appreciate, if I was looking at this page, I would really appreciate something that said that we're not going to spam you, or we're not going to call you over and over again, something like that. Something that kind of assuages the fear of being spammed.
Yep. I did like how they were capturing the phone number here, so I didn't call it. I did like how notifications get SMS. It's a sneaky way to get somebody's phone number on the form, that the way they have the notifications, SMS alert, yes, send me an SMS alert before the webinar, and you capture the person's phone number, whereas they might have been hesitant to give a phone number up here, but then if you give them an incentive because they're interested in the alert, then you're capturing their phone number, which I thought was kind of a sneaky way of capturing somebody's phone number on the page.
Yeah, but it's a good way. I mean, I think there's a bit of a permission involved, that you've actually ticked that and only then are you asked for the phone number.
Yeah. No, I liked it as instead of just requiring a phone number, I liked having, give me permission to send you notifications and then give me your phone number. I really liked that about this page. And I think you're right about the audience might be right for the video play. I still think that it's useful to have the additional content that backs up the video on the page for people that are just scrolling or don't make it all the way through the video.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we're on to the pages that we're going to look at this stage.
So the pages that I'm looking at. Yeah. So the first one is Delimiter's landing page for dedicated servers, right? Let me just pull this up. All right. First things first. It says last few units. So I do understand it's about servers, but last few units for what? There's absolutely no call to action. There's at least I don't feel there's any relevance in what this headline says. The second thing that made it difficult for me to understand this page was this background image. So let me put the red spots. First is the headline. Second is this little background image over here. it just makes the text very difficult to read. So that is something that came out to me immediately. Now the third thing is the majority of people who are interested in dedicated servers or who know about this stuff, they're technical in nature, and they're probably looking at lots of different options because a lot of people provide dedicated servers. So I don't think this really works. So yeah, I don't think a paragraph works over here. In fact, what I would change this to is a simple list item which speaks about 4 primary things. That is same price as a virtual server. Let me put that. Same price as a virtual server. 4 cores, 16 GB RAM, 500 GB hard disk, all yours to power your applications, run your own virtual servers or even okay. No one else is sharing the server. Alright, fine. Maybe 100% ownership or something. So I'd probably put these 5 points in a list and get it done with, because that enables visitors to make a decision very, very quickly, and either they understand that this is for them or not for them. Then I come over here. Now this image, I think, or this offer, limited time offer, $20 a month. Josh, do you think, is it a good offer? Is it like a valuable offer? Or I think you might be knowing a little bit about this.
I think it's the problem with that is there's no anchor to the offer, like limited time offer, $20 a month. There's nothing that says like normally costs X dollars a month, or what the % savings is. So there's not much context about what the offer is, because if that's $20 a month but the cost is $1,000, I don't. There needs to be a little bit more context on the limited time offer in terms of what the percentage discount is, or what that is in comparison to the normal offer.
Yeah. So that is one thing I do. The second thing I would do is, put this over here. If $20 is a great value, it's a great discount offer or something, I'd put it in the headline, because people start reading from the left over here, last few units. Maybe this is a reason to go for delimiters services, but if the visitor comes to last few units, then goes to this paragraph over here, it's quite likely that they might decide not to move on right here at this paragraph, and not look at this $20 a month limited time offer. So I'd put it in the headline, last few units, or something like last few units of dedicated server at $20 a month. Coming down, I think the form is well contrasted. That is something that I like. I like the directional queue. When I looked at this form, here's something that I did not like actually. When I looked at this form, the coloring was off, the background color. So I think that is something they could quickly, it's a little bit of text or a CSS change that I could quickly work on. Okay. Finally, best value server on the market. There's a reason why delimiters, price, performance. Okay, fine. This is very generic text that all dedicated server manufacturers and providers will probably, use. So, okay. Full suite of software for free. This is technical, but I'm assuming it makes sense to people who understand these things properly. So I think this is a good idea to put these over here, so that whoever's looking at this immediately understands what they're getting for free. Probably they could make the free a little larger. So let me just put this over here. Make larger. Because obviously the free part does work. We've seen that in multiple A/B test case studies in VWO. And alright, fine. So over here, now there is no link at all. I tried clicking and there's absolutely no link. I feel they really should add a call to action to buy over here. At least this limited time offer, or get your own dedicated server. Something like that should be over here. So I'll put add call to action in this area. Alright, yeah. Anything else you want to say right now, Josh, about this page?
So I agree with you about all the feedback you had. The thing about the missing link there on the bottom, like I want to take advantage of that offer, but I couldn't figure out how. Near the top, when you went back, if you can scroll a little bit back to the top of the page.
There you go.
Yeah, the form, like you said, the background kind of, it stood out, and so I liked that. But there's something weird about the background of these text boxes that I think would be better. I think it could be styled a little bit better. To make the the arrow is nice that goes down into the form because it leads you to it does lead you to the form there. And I agree with you about everything about the giving away free. They're really not playing that up as much as they could on this page. Like the reason you would do this is that you're getting it free there.
Right. Thanks. So yeah, free and text box issues, especially at least, could be very, very quickly taken care of. So now I'll move on to my final page, that is Holloway Auto Transport. All right. So first things first, let me just see if this is yeah. This caught my attention in a bad way. I like that the logo is very, very clear. Here's what I really like actually. So let me put that in green. Yeah. Okay. Call for an instant quote. So giving a phone number outright and giving exact timings is usually a good trust building factor, because people know that fine, they have a phone number that if I don't get my answers online, I can just call them up and probably get in touch with them right there. If they can manage it, or if possible, it would be better if this could be a toll-free number, because those tend to increase trust even further and get people talking to you. I don't know what this text says over here. I'm assuming it could be something important that's being missed out. In terms of the headline, Nationwide Auto Transport, call now and instantly receive a 50% off on shipping your vehicle. So I think this is pretty clear. I think this is actually very, very clear, the headline. It immediately tells what it's all about, Nationwide Auto Transport. And the discount that they're offering is pretty good. It's great that they've made it very, very prominent out on the landing page. That's great. 5-star rating on transport reviews. Okay, 20 years of experience, US customer service. I think this is good. I'm sure it matters that customer service should be in the home country. So yeah, and 100K plus cars shipped. Again, something really good, because it is social proof. It is proof that we've been there, done that, and we know what we're doing. Coming to the hero image of this lady with the car. Okay, I think this is something they should A/B test. I mean, I know pictures like this usually work, but what we've constantly seen is that stock images are like the pawn of online or digital marketing. Somehow everyone's overused them, but they make no sense. I mean, when I see this lady, I know she doesn't work at all away. I know she's got a lot of Photoshop done on her, and it's just too perfect, and normal people are not like that. So I'd probably change the hero image or this shot over here to probably include employee photos, with Holloway's merchandise on them, or wearing t-shirts of Holloway. Maybe even trucks and 18-wheelers or whatever that have Holloway branding on them. Something over there would be great. Something that actually says Holloway and gives an instant connect would be great. Yeah. Coming to the form, request a quote in 2 easy steps. I like that. It's, it tells me how much time will I need to spend on this, and it's actually exactly to the point. A quote is exactly how I guess most people would describe pricing. How much will it cost for me to transport my car across the country? The second thing, I compared this page to many other auto transport listing. What I loved was how to the point this form is. So let me mark this in green actually. This entire form is exactly like city, your state, country, that is where you get picked up, dropped off, and the shipping date, shipping method. I'm assuming that a lot of people might not exactly understand this. I'm not sure how much people understand, say, open, enclose, or drive away, right? So maybe this could come at a later step in a checkbox or in a radio button with the open, enclosed, and drive away explained, in a single sentence after asking. So that's that. Another great point, they've got a lot of social proof over here, works well. And go to the next step. I think this could be made a little better, saying just go to the next step. I'm not so sure about that. Probably some better text about, complete your, or get your car, or get your vehicle transported, something like that. A more actionable call to action text, if I might call it. What's a little irritating is this online live chat with us. So let me just refresh this page and show you what I mean. So when you refresh this page, all right. Yeah. The live chat actually kind of scrolls down and then it keeps on popping up over here. So probably they've set up their systems and processes in such a way, or their sales process in such a way that anyone who chats with them live is the most qualified lead, or is the most qualified person. But if I want to quickly finish or request a quote, I think this is very distracting. So all right, yeah, I think this is very, very distracting because it just takes away all the attention. And then when you click over here, all they've got is general questions, right? I think this could be a little bit more focused, ask us something about, or any other, probably talk to sales, talk to get a quote people. I think this could be much more focused than just saying general questions with your name and your email. So yeah, I'm not very happy about this. I'll mark this in red over here. All right, our number one focus is customer care. Okay, well, average, I mean, no, that's what a lot of people say. I don't really know how far that's true. I don't know how large this brand is, so okay. Save time communicating, so it's good. I like how they structure the information. But save time communicating, we won't waste your time by shuffling. Okay, I think this should be highlighted, your personal concierge. I don't know how many other businesses give this kind of a service, or is it simply an account manager or something like that, but I think this should be really highlighted. No photo over here, no real person photo over here. It's great that they've given this information, so this I think goes in green. But what I don't like is that they've got no real photos over here. So yeah, I think that is something that should be changed. But some parts of this testimonial actually sounds very authentic. When I went through this testimonial, it somehow just felt like a real person would write it, yeah, I think that is, it seems to me that they've not made this up, and so at least gives me a little bit of trust in their business. All right, coming down. Okay, so the immediate thing that caught my attention, I saw these parts over here. That's fine. Okay, we have LinkedIn and social proof, Facebook and social proof and Yelp reviews and all that. That's great. But what caught my attention over here is that this particular call to action could be more prominent. It's in a very dull color and it's grayed out. So I'm not really sure how good is that for them. I think this could be done. This is a color that they can work around with, they can play with, use the color wheel probably and understand what color would be best over here against the purplish background. Looking at this headline, whether your vehicle is going door to door or around the world, we'll get there on time. All right, fine. I mean, fine, yeah. Doesn't say a lot, but nothing wrong with it either. The staff here at, all right, yeah. So I think this is about it. These were the primary things that caught my attention as I was going through this page. Josh, do you have anything on this?
Yeah, you covered just about everything. It was a great review of the page. I agree with you about the hero image at the top. I liked that in contrast to the previous page, the bulleted list in the headline that called out the it was almost an exact opposite of what the previous page was in terms of doing a great job calling out the subheadline and then the bullets down below in terms of the discount, with the relative discount, and then the headlines. The form is a complex form, but they made it look relatively simple, and so I like that as well on the page.
All right, fine, great, yeah. So I think we have time for one additional review. I don't think we'll be able to do 2 reviews because we're kind of going out of time. So let me just quickly pull up a landing page, and I'll just pull it up over here, and then we can together review it. Yeah. People who are saying that they can't hear me at all, I'm just going through the questions to look at the landing pages that have been submitted so far. If you would like your landing page to be reviewed right now live, just quickly add it over here, and I'll try and pick it up right now. Josh, would you like to start?
All right, so we're looking at vicegolf.com on the page. And it looks like a website for My Vice, personalized golf balls. Oh, and while I was reading that, it changed. All right, so that's my first bit of feedback, is that I know people like rotating slideshows at the top of a landing page, but if the text that's there changes before somebody has a chance to orientate themselves to the headline, I would remove that slideshow. I think you can have a slideshow. What I think I would change it to, and what I think works better that we've seen, is having the text doesn't change with the images, because what happens is just what happened to me. I was trying to orientate myself to the page. Every page is slightly different. I was trying to understand more about the business. I read half the sentence and it switched. And so if you rotate things in the background, consider keeping the headline text the same, and maybe if anything rotates, just the subheadline or like a caption about the image below the image rotating that adds detail to the image, but don't ever rotate the main headline on people, because that's the way people, right there, that's the main headline, personalized golf balls, and you still didn't have time to read it while it's going through. So that was my first bit of feedback. That should be obvious at the top. So the top has a really nice logo like Vice Golf, but if the headline especially is down in the images, that Vice Golf logo should probably say something on the right-hand side about personalized golf balls, or right below it, or personalized golf wear. Just something that makes it easy. That's like we're the best in personalized golf wear. Like something that makes it really obvious what it is. it'll probably become obvious if you kept that headline static in the image. So then going down the page, it looks like they've got a product catalog, and they're highlighting some of their best products. And again, it's a theme we saw today. There's a quote, at least the quotation mark is there, but there's no attribution. It looks like just marketing speak on the page where it says high-cost balls are the past. We know how retail in the golf industry works and have developed a new concept. I would say, that's actually from you. It's not a quote. I would just take that quote out and proudly say, we're against high-cost golf balls. We're working to for you to create a better product. Like, just be proud of the fact that you're saying this and you're doing it. If you have quotes, that is a great location on the page for the quote. I wouldn't hide it as like as a quote is what I'm saying. This landing page has a lot of talk about you as a company, meaning that you're talking about a typical, we'll go through 3 to 4 middlemen. We bypass middlemen. These feature things here in these boxes, yeah. And it says all of our products are developed by, and then the right side finally talks about the customer. Give your golf balls a personal touch with your company logo, name, and tagline. So those first two things are not really obvious benefits to the customer on the page where it says no middlemen and sophisticated technology and unique design. So those first two sections are really benefits about your company that aren't benefits for the person viewing the page and why they should buy your golf ball. Now, I know the paragraph text explains why, but think about repositioning those headlines and the explanation in a way that makes more sense to the customer. So no middlemen. The benefit to the customer is lower prices, right? And so don't say, we don't use middlemen. That's the how. Nobody cares how you lower the price. They care that their price is lower. Sophisticated technology and unique design. Again, no one cares how you got there, but what people and golfers in particular are after is drive the ball further or more accurate or, straighter shots. Like, the benefit to the customer is that they're going to play a better game of golf with your golf ball. So don't say the sophisticated technology, again, that's the how you got there, but you're missing the what of, you'll play a better game of golf. The last bit is a what statement. So individual custom golf balls, that third headline there that's on the page. And that's the one that's good that you could play up more, and I would have it on the left-hand side because that is your primary benefit. It's not just the cost, everything you're saying. Not only are you going to get a lower cost, you're going to get it personalized with your company logo. So that text right there in the paragraph that has the company, get your golf balls, yeah, move that over. And then the text below that where it says, give your golf balls a personal touch with your company logo, name, or tagline. I feel like that should be played up more, and you should have some hero images or example golf balls that are around this text that says, just show different companies that have made their golf balls with their logo, and just show the golf balls on the page so people understand, oh, it's the same ball, but there's 5 different headlines. I must be able to personalize it. And again, it might feel like you're beating like you're beating up on a topic, but the reality is that people that come to your website do not have the context that you have about your business. To you, when you're promoting your own business, you always think to yourself, and I do the same thing, well, this is obvious. Of course they would know we personalize golf balls. But the reality is you kind of have to repeat your key value a couple times on the page in different ways. The image, the quote, the headline, subheadline should all be sort of variations playing off of your key values so that you have more ways of communicating it to different style learners. So imagine that somebody comes to your page as a visual learner. You want to show them the visual examples of 3 different golf balls that are the same ball with different logos. Some people might be like an audio-visual learner, in which case you might have a video somewhere on the page that explains the benefits and the technology, why they should choose your golf ball. Some people might be just into reading, and that's where the headlines and making the great headlines come into play on the landing page. And so that's my biggest feedback, is I think they really need to focus more on the making it obvious what the page is at the top, then focusing the rest of the page on the benefits for the customers instead of how they're achieving those benefits. And then giving some more great examples, because on this whole page there's not one example of a personalized golf ball other than with your own logo on the page. But if that's really what you're after, and that's one of the main benefits, there should be examples of personalized golf balls so you get the point. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, thanks so much for that, Josh. So yeah, first things first, I would prefer a phone number or an email or some form of contact over here on the top right. So let me add that. Info. Yeah. And then obviously I've tried to hate image sliders actually, because before I just looked at them and I probably didn't really pay much attention. Now I look at them and I get irritated that they're not really allowing me to digest or understand what it's all about. So yeah, that is something that I would change immediately about this page. One way to go about it is break this apart, or break this primary area into multiple sub images. So I think Target does that. From what I last remember, they've broken apart their e-commerce page. Okay, no, not these guys. Anyway, so the way I would go about it is, if I were to put a little bit of probably just one offer here, one here, something like that, so that a lot of information can be shown at the same time, but your primary offer, or your the primary amount of information that you want to show gets the most eyeballs. Coming down, it seems to me that this is your most important, or this is Vice Pro's most important, Vice's most important product, or this is what sells the most. If that's the case, then this is great. If that is not the case, then this is taking up a lot of attention because of the contrast around here. So I don't know, let me just assume that this is what works, so I'll mark this as green. I agree completely with you, Josh. High ball costs are the past. We know how retail in the golf ball industry works and have developed a new concept. There's nothing about the new concept. There's nothing about, what you've developed right now. I mean, probably a link over here, a new concept, if the concept is actually new. And if it makes sense, then I'd probably add this as a link or explain a little bit more. Okay. No middleman. Now, what's the benefit to the customer in no middleman? So this really caught my eye. Receives a 4 to 5 time markup. If it's receiving a 4 to 5 time markup, that is what I'd put over here. That get your golf balls, say, about 25% of the cost that you get it out in retail. That is something that I put over here. Sophisticated technology and unique design. Okay. I'm not really sure how much of a differentiator that is in golf balls in today's world. Personalization and individual custom golf balls. Okay, this is something that I thought would be very, very useful. If I were to, play golf with, balls that have my company name or my name or something, that is something I want to show all my friends. That is something I want to show the person I'm playing with, that, hey, look, check this out. This is really cool. So this could be, I would say, probably even put it in something like this, just make it take an entire section over here, shift everything down, and that is shift all the text down, and take this one part, personalization of golf balls, put it up over here and show your customers, show a couple of balls, that is how is it that they get customized. So that and I'd say let's add a CTA over here, some kind of a CTA, because I have not seen any strong CTAs on this page except for, but that doesn't really work. at least especially when it's a moving slider. So I would suggest that they have call to actions over here. So there you go. Yeah, I think that's about it for me now. So I think, yeah, Josh, I think we're done.
Yeah, those are great points about the missing call to action and the phone number and stuff at the top. I mean, it was really buried in that slider there, the top, the call to action.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. All right, Josh, thanks so much for being with us. This was simply great. I mean, I enjoyed it myself. I learned so much while you were going through your parts. And thanks so much. I'm sure all of our users today and all the attendees today also really enjoyed this super informative webinar. And
yeah, happy to do it. And anytime you want to do it again, just look me up.
All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.